Hello! Today this video is going to be about the fourth limb of yoga. I have a playlist on YouTube, if you go to my channel, Kimberly Achelis-Hoggan, that I'm trying to build with each limb of yoga. So the other three are up there. The first ones are the yamas. These are the actions we're trying to not take in our life. Then we have the niyamas. These are the actions we are trying to take in our life. Then there's asana. These are the physical yoga postures of yoga and the seat we're trying to take, the position we're trying to take in our life. And then the fourth one, pranayama. Pranayama is normally thought of as the breath or breath work. I love looking at the root words, the Sanskrit words. So prana, P-R-A-N-A, is normally translated as life force energy. In yama, Y-A-M-A, we know this from the first limb, the yamas, this is like restraint or control. So oftentimes pranayama is explained as the control of your life force energy. I really like to shift the way you break up the word, so you can still take P-R-A-N, pran, which still translates as life force energy. And then yama becomes ayama because the A goes with that chunk of the word. And in Sanskrit, whenever you put an A in front of the word, it makes it the opposite. So if yama is control or restriction, ayama becomes expansion. So we can use our breath to create more expansion of our life force energy. What this means for me is when I feel like I don't have enough energy, I can pause, I can use the power of my breath to unlock and expand more energy. I can use the power of my breath to expand light, to expand healing, to expand my sense of power, to expand that which I think I'm capable of. Sometimes I think about, like, I have this little bucket. This bucket is me. And depending on what's going on in my life and the rituals I'm taking or the habits I'm engaging in, you know, the stressors that are coming at me, my bucket changes size. And then life, as life's happening, it's like dumping water on me, right? And sometimes, depending on what's going on in life, it's like a trickle that's going into my bucket, and sometimes it's like a fire hose. And depending on how big my bucket is, depends on how much I can take before I feel like I'm drowning. Right? So pranayama, having a practice that can expand my life force energy, is like being able to go in there and expand the size of my bucket. As we're learning right now, I'm filming this during COVID, we're not always in control of how much is coming at us, right? How much water, in this example, is coming at us and at what force, but we can be in control of how big our bucket is. So pranayama can be the expansion of our life force energy, the expansion of that which we can, the container that we can hold. I'm trying to think of what other juicy things I can say about pranayama. Oh, so pranayama is the fourth limb of this 8-limbed path, and it reminds me a lot of the heart chakra, the anahata chakra, which is also the fourth chakra. The fourth chakra is often thought of as this bridge between these more dense realms and these more subtle realms. Same thing with pranayama. These beginning few limbs, what we don't want to do, what we do want to do in these physical postures are much more dense. They're much more like the way we act in the world and like our physical body, the positions we're putting it in. And as we move into the fifth, sixth, and the above limbs, they become much more subtle. It's about our concentration, it's about meditation, and finally it becomes this being able to become absorbed into bliss or enlightenment or samadhi. And I think this is like a really, really cool, powerful link, this breath and how it can become this bridge to these more subtle levels. I know for me in my practice, I had to start dense though. I was very interested in the body and like the physicality of it. And now 16 years later, I'm very interested in the subtlety of it, but I don't think I would have gotten interested in the subtlety of the practice if it wasn't for the years spent like figuring out how my body works and focusing on more of these dense layers. I remember when I first started practicing yoga, I was told to inhale and exhale through my nose, which is very common in a yoga class, and I could not do that. I was a mouth breather, so I would try, and I remember I'd get to downward facing dog after doing like a vinyasa, right? So like inhale one breath, exhale another breath with the movements, and I'd get to down dog and I'd like silently pant, like as I'd prepare for like another sequence of breathing through my nose. Just shows how transformative these practices can be. There's a mantra that I really like that has to do with pranayama, and it's called Pavan Guru. And Pavan is the carrier of life force energy, so it's the carrier of breath. And Guru is it's the guru principle. It's this teacher that allows us to move from the experience of darkness into the experience of light. And it's this wisdom that's innate inside of us that we can unlock. So when we tune into the breath, when we become conscious and aware of the breath, when we can learn how to control the breath in a way that it leads to our expansion, we're bringing in this wisdom of the guru, the wisdom of the guru that's always around us at all times and always within us in all times, and it's carried on our breath. So some basic aspects of breath is the square breathing. I find that really helpful. So oftentimes we breathe unconsciously and we tend to breathe shallowly in the chest. So bringing awareness to the breath of like there's an inhalation and then there's a pause at the top and then there's the exhalation and there's a pause at the bottom. So inhaling, retention, exhaling, retention. Inhaling, belly expands, retention. Exhaling, belly draws in, retention. Inhale, belly expands, retention. Exhale, belly draws in, and then retention. That can be a really helpful way to bring more awareness to your breath, is closing your eyes or having your eyes open, especially if you're driving. Driving is one of my favorite places to work on some of these breathing practices because I'm doing it anyways, and it seems like a good time to like bust out some breath of fire or diaphragmatic breath. So imagining this square. The retentions are also really powerful. So you can inhale and focus on holding your breath for a while. And then exhale, you can also do the opposite practice, holding the exhale. The hold exhale is something I do a lot. It's supposed to be connected with how you deal with the idea of death, and especially during coronavirus and as we move into these darker months. And like many wisdom traditions say that if we can unlock death and like become more comfortable with death, the ability that we can live also greatly increases. So as you're working at the pranayama, you can work on these 4 parts of the breathing, and then you can also play around with holding at the top of the breath or at the bottom of the breath. I've been posting more pranayama videos to my channel lately since I have a broken foot and can't do much yoga. So if you're looking for more pranayama videos, there's some on my video. Okay, well, there you are, pranayama, the 4th limb of yoga. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you later at some point for the 5th limb of yoga.